In today's video, we're going to be talking about using contrasting language with Althea Gibson and Arthur Ashe. Here are some of the words that you will see when you are comparing and contrasting. And since we are only focusing on contrasting today, I'm going to cover up compare. And let's read through this list. Different, differ, unalike, not alike, difference. On the other hand, however, although, even though, in contrast to, while, but. These are not all of the words that you will see that signal contrasting language, but these are some of the ones that are used more often. So let's take a look at some of the sentence frames that you will be using as we are going through this speaking and writing portion of Althea Gibson and Arthur Ashe. On the right side here, we have our Venn diagram that we have created and filled in together. Remember, the middle part in green are the things that are similar between the two. And then on the outside, we have things that are different. Anything that is in blue is for Althea Gibson. Anything that is in red is for Arthur Ashe. Over here for our contrasting sentence frames, again, we have our circles, which are our simple sentence frames. We have a level up in academic language, which are our squares. These would be considered sufficient sentence frames. And then our most academic language, or our sophisticated language, would be the diamonds. You'll notice that some of the sentence frames have circles above them. That is because you have a choice within your brackets and you just move the circle over the choice that you want. And remember, you only choose one. So let's take a look at and practice using these sentence frames. The contrasting language that I am going to use today for Althea Gibson and Arthur Ashe is what college they went to. And I'm just going to use these two details just to keep it the same throughout each of the sentence frames so you can see how they sound different and how they sound the same using the same details. So with Althea Gibson, she went to Florida A&M College, and Arthur Ashe went to UCLA, also known as the University of California at Los Angeles. I'm going to circle those two here too so we can see where they're at. And then let's go through our sentence frames. Just like in the comparison, we can type in these boxes and then use the frame as it is written here. So first, with our blue, the first box is the name, and these are smaller boxes, so I won't be able to type all of Althea Gibson's name. So you can just write Althea, or you can do AG for Althea Gibson. Just remember, when you're speaking or writing, you are to say the whole name, not just the initials. So first, Althea Gibson is blank. Now, with this sentence frame, the is not going to work as our verb because we have the verb went. So I will just cover up that verb and not use it. And we'll say went to Florida A and M College. Make it a little bigger. And then over here for Arthur Ashe, AA. Again, this is verb is not going to work since we have the verb went. So I am just going to cover it up. And it is okay to adjust sentence frames because they are just that, sentence frames. They're not set in stone and we can change them. It's basically the outline of what you want to do, and they are flexible within that outline. So the first sentence would be Althea Gibson went to Florida A&M College, comma, you'll notice it's separated with a comma, and Arthur Ashe went to UCLA. Same thing for our next sentence frame, except we just use the transition or conjunction but instead of and. So I would just say Althea Gibson. Oops. Althea Gibson went to Florida A&M College, but Arthur Ashe went to UCLA. So similar, but just changing up that conjunction, which makes a big difference when you're writing instead of just always using but or always using and. So let's move down to our sufficient sentence frames. And again, the blue is Althea Gibson. So we'll have Althea Gibson went to Florida A&M College. And we get to choose which transition word we want, whereas, while, or yet. And you just kind of move the circle over the one so you know what you're saying. And remember, you don't say them all. And then Arthur Ashe went to UCLA. Our whole sentence would sound like this. Althea Gibson went to Florida A&M College, comma, whereas Arthur went to UCLA. This next sentence is a little bit different because we have a beginning where we say both of our topics or our people. Althea Gibson and Arthur Ashe are different because, and now this is where we will put in the difference detail. Althea Gibson went to, this is a small box, so I'm just going to put ... because I know what I'm going to say. And then again, I get to make my choice. I'm going to do while this time, because again, this is where we can vary what we're saying or make different choices, which makes our writing more exciting to read. Oops. There we go. So this is how this sentence would sound. Althea Gibson and Arthur Ashe are different because Althea Gibson went to Florida A&M College, comma, while Arthur Ashe went to UCLA. So even just changing up the sentences just a little bit makes it sound different from the previous sentences that you have been doing. So here we just have Althea Gibson went to Florida A&M College. And this one is actually two sentences. So that first part is going to have a period after it. And the second sentence that is contrasting is going to have an introductory phrase. So you'll choose one. You'll either say on the other hand, or you can say in contrast, or you can say on the contrary. But with introductory phrases, you want a comma after them. So whichever one you choose, make sure there is a comma after it. So I'm just going to do on the other hand, make it a little bit bigger. And then over here, Arthur Ashe went to UCLA. So my sentence sounds like this. Althea Gibson went to Florida A&M College. On the other hand, Arthur Ashe went to UCLA. Same thing with this next one. The only difference is it's two sentences. The only difference is we're just using the word however. So we would say Althea Gibson went to Florida A&M College. However, notice that comma there, Arthur Ashe went to UCLA. So those are our sufficient sentences, right kind of in the middle of our academic language. And now let's get to our most academic language, our diamonds. So some of the more academic language here is we have a notable difference. Notable means it's something that you should take note of, meaning something that you should pay attention to. So we have a notable difference between Althea Gibson and Arthur Ashe is, and then the second part is where you would say what the difference is. That Althea Gibson went to Florida A&M College. And then we choose our transition word, yet. And then we have Arthur Ashe went to UCLA. So this full sentence would read, a notable difference between Althea Gibson and Arthur Ashe is Althea Gibson went to Florida A&M College, comma, yet Arthur Ashe went to UCLA. Next sentence is we have a subordinating conjunction clause at the beginning here. So we have to make sure that we have a comma after it. So we would say, while Althea Gibson, and again, this verb is here is not the one that I want to use. So I'm just going to cover it up. Went to Florida A&M College, comma, or Ashe differs in that he went to UCLA. So that sentence would sound like this. While Althea Gibson went to Florida A&M College, Arthur Ashe differs in that he went to UCLA. So you'll notice with this sentence frame here, this last phrase is not just the verb phrase here. I need to add my subject in, which is he. Okay, because we have this word that here, which creates the need for a full sentence afterwards. Okay, I can't say Arthur Ashe differs in that went to UCLA. We have to say he went to UCLA. And then our last sentence here combines both something that is the same with our green box and then a difference afterwards. So we will start with the choices of although or even though. So we're saying, here's our thing that is the same, or here's our thing that's different, but we also have this other thing. So although Althea Gibson is similar to Arthur Ashe in that they both went to college, they have some key differences, like Althea Gibson went to Florida A&M College, and Arthur Ashe went to UCLA. So we have that last phrase is complete sentences. It's not broken down into sections like the above ones are, but you just have to know that within this line or within this box that you are noting a difference for each of them. So those are the contrasting statements that we are going to be using today. If you have any questions, please ask.